Hi folks, it's me, Miss Erin from C.C. Miller Memorial Library, here for today's middle grade moment. So I'm going to be talking about 4 books that are great for readers ages 9 to 12, and all of them are available for checkout on Hoopla. This week all of the books that we're talking about are about Black activists and Black activism. So let's get started. The first book that I wanted to tell you about is historical. This is called Child of the Dream, a memoir of 1963, and it's by Sharon Robinson. So because it is a memoir, it is both by Sharon Robinson and about Sharon Robinson. She's telling us the story of her 13th year, the year she turns 13. And that is also the middle of the civil rights movement in America. So she is not only growing up and trying to make new friends and trying to figure out how middle school works, she's also trying to find her place in the civil rights movement. Now, you may not recognize her name, but I'll bet you would recognize her dad's name. Her dad is Jackie Robinson, who is the baseball player who broke the color barrier in baseball. He was the first African-American player in Major League Baseball. And so her dad is pretty famous. He's pretty rich. He is a figurehead that lots and lots of people look up to and want to talk to. And so Sharon gets a lot of her drive to be involved and active and talk through important subjects from seeing her dad do all of these things. So 1963 is the year of the March on Washington. It's the year that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his very famous I Have a Dream speech, and Sharon got to be there. But marching and going to protests wasn't the only way that she and her family got involved in the civil rights movement. They also worked on raising money for the cause, and she also brought it into her classroom. She encouraged her teachers and her fellow classmates to read the news and to be able to talk to each other about what was going on outside their classroom. So this is a really neat look at the history of a civil rights movement from someone who was really there. The next book I want to talk to you about, though, is also about somebody who was really there, but this is much more recent, where the first one was about the civil rights movement, which feels like such a long time ago. This one, Marley Gets It Done, and So Can You, is about a girl who's a teenager right now. So Marley Dias, in 2015, she started the movement #1000 Black Girl Books, because she wanted to diversify the books that we read in school. She was tired of being assigned books that were just about white kids and dogs. And she wanted to be able to read books and to be encouraged to read books in her classes about people who looked like her, people who looked like all of her other classmates as well. So she created this hashtag on the internet and really asked people to donate books that starred Black girls. And even though she originally set her target as 1,000 books, they ended up with over 10,000 books. So not only does she have a lot of really great book recommendations for us, she's got lots and lots of titles, and you can actually go to her website and find even more and get to sort them by the age of the person that you're looking for, like whether you're reading to a younger sibling or whether you're looking for a book for yourself. But she also has lots and lots of tips on how to be an activist in general, how you as a young person can make a difference. She did all of this when she was only in middle school, and how you can use social media as an activist safely and effectively. So lots and lots of tips and ways that you can really get involved. And this is called Marley Gets It Done, and So Can You. So those 2 books were both by and about the same person. This one is a fiction book. So A Good Kind of Trouble is by Lisa Moore Ramee. And it is about a character named Shayla. And Shayla is starting middle school this year. And she is a rule follower. She does not like getting in trouble. She doesn't even like seeing other people get in trouble. It makes her hands start to itch. She gets really nervous. Ugh, she just doesn't like it. But starting middle school, everything feels different. She is Black, and her two best friends, one is Hispanic and one is Japanese American. And so they've always been best friends. They have called themselves the United Nations because they all look a little bit different. But this year, they're all starting to drift apart and they're starting to spend more time with other people. And at first that makes Shayla really bummed out. She's really sad about it. But then something happens in her town. A white police officer shoots and kills a Black person. And it's all caught on film. And her town is waiting for the verdict, whether this police officer is going to be charged with murder or not. So all of that is happening around her. And Shayla doesn't really want to talk about that with her classmates who aren't Black. She wants to be able to, when she's thinking about it, when she's watching the news, when she is thinking about her feelings about this, she wants to be able to talk to other people who have similar experiences, who also look at that and think, wow, that could have happened to me, or that could have happened to my dad, or that could have happened to someone I know. And so she starts spending more and more time with her Black classmates and her older sister, who is getting really involved in protests and marching. And so one of the things that Shayla decides she's going to start doing is wearing, you can see on the cover here, she's wearing a Black armband. That's to show her support for Black Lives Matter. And she's very proud to be able to do that at school, but all of a sudden, it comes out, the principal thinks that that's against the school rules. And so Shayla has to decide if this is worth getting in trouble for. Should she keep wearing it, or should she follow the rules and not get in trouble and take it off? This, I think, was my favorite of the books that I read this week, because this one feels very pertinent to right now, but also Shayla, I really like as a character. I feel like I really got to know her. I feel like I really understood her anxieties about getting in trouble and all of the things that she was feeling as she talked through her school day. So all three of the books that I've talked about so far are available as audiobooks on Hoopla. The next book that I want to tell you about is an ebook, and it has a lot of pictures, so it's really great that you get to see it as an ebook. It's called We Are the Change: Words of Inspiration from Civil Rights Leaders. And so in this book, a bunch of different illustrators each took a quote from a different leader and illustrated it. And so there are quotes from poets, there are quotes from activists like Dr. Martin Luther King, there are quotes from leaders throughout history. And so in addition to the quote and the picture, you get a little description from each of the illustrators about why they chose that quote, what it means to them, and who the person who said it originally is. Like, what is their history? So this is a really neat one. All of the quotes are really inspirational, can really help you if you're looking for that push, that inspiration to really help you feel like you can make a difference. This is a really good book to read. So I would encourage you this week, after looking at these books, maybe after you take some of the tips that Marley Dias has, to think about a cause that you are really interested in, something that you really want to get involved in. And if there is a step you can take yourself right now, whether that's writing to an elected official or giving a phone call, or if you have some money or time to donate, that's a good thing to do too. But I encourage you to get involved, because all of these books showed that not only can kids get involved, they can really make a difference too. So I know that you can too. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you back here next week for another middle grade moment next Thursday. Bye!